Ole Miss with that high-pressure, stifling, in-your-face defense. And they don't give up a lot of three-pointers, as the stats say. So, like you said, something's got to give.
Ole Miss 2-1 in the SEC. Alabama 2-1 in the SEC. Tips up at the Pavilion, and we're off and running in Oxford. 18th ranked Alabama and Ole Miss. The Tide looking to bounce back after a 44-point loss on the road in Austin. And Sirachinu, Ole Miss's sensational freshman, gets us started in the Mid-South. Alabama's starting five. Big presence not felt today. Sarah Ashley Barker missing her third consecutive game. Lower leg injury against Florida. She was questionable last night, but downgraded to out today. So in her absence, Diana Collins getting her third consecutive start. And Ole Miss takes it away from Bama. An Ole Miss team that's fourth in the SEC in steals per game. Todd Williams hits the three. Nye passes to Collins out front, and Collins on the drive. And a wild scoop shot off the mark. Madison Scott up the floor to Chinu. Along with Scott, you have Star Jacobs. And Tamina Sadler, too.
It's not the same.
Definitely not the same. You see, without Barker, Alabama's 1-1. With, again, that loss to Texas on the road, 84-40. And then a win against Missouri, 68-49. So really no telling what this Bama team really looks like without their all-SEC first-teamer. And this could be another test to see who the Crimson Tide are without Barker. Second leading scorer, second best rebounder on this team, too. Third in assists and third in offensive rebounds. Again, she's a presence that Crimson Tide have missed. And there's the first 2 points for Zaay Green and also Alabama today.
There was a reason that we highlighted Green.
And then from there, moved to Arkansas Pine Bluff. Star Jacobs rejected underneath, got it back. Got that to bounce home. 9-2 lead for Ole Miss. The Rebels are 4 of 5 shooting to begin this game. Lindsay, what are you seeing from the Rebels early?
Yeah, nitty-gritty. I mean, they are playing hard-nosed, not looking to be bailed out.
Nye drains the three from the corner.
SEC is loaded with some people that can score and put points on the board.
Jacobs in the post. Kick out to Todd Williams. Hits another. She's had 7 made threes now in 2 games.
Kennedy Todd Williams is stifling.
Green can't respond, and Todd Williams reaches for the rebound. 6 points for Toddy. The perfect nickname they said for her when she came to Oxford from North Carolina 2 years ago. And Madison Scott's always funny from the left elbow.
No, you really don't. When she catches it with her back to the basket and is able to create.
Essence Cody gets the feed underneath. 7-point advantage for Ole Miss early. Sadler on the drive. She's blocked, and there's Cody with her 28th block this year. She sits 6th in the SEC, too, in blocks per contest. Green needs help. Eris Lester, who just subbed in for the first time today, takes it underneath. That was nifty.
What a basket. I mean, that's where Alabama excels. Nearly half of their points come from in the paint and not necessarily from offensive boards. It's plays just like that.
Saw some signs of the 5'11 freshman from Jacksonville. Cody from Valdosta, Georgia, 6'4 sophomore. Alabama players would love to forget and move on from 44-point loss at Texas. As Ole Miss, in their non-conference recap, they fell to USC in Paris 68-66. In the Bahamas, they saw some success. Lost to NC State in the SEC-ACC Challenge, and now they're 2-1 in conference play. Christina Walla. 9 left to shoot for the Tide. Nye, their best three-point shooter, feeds Cunningham. Back to Nye. Doesn't get it off in time. Shot clock violation. I think Madison Scott, being a 6'2 senior forward, she'd lead her team in assists, which she does with 58. As Todd Williams airmails that three, she started today 2 for 2 from outside. Alabama's made 2 of their last 10. Looking to change that. And 1 for Zaay Green. Being 6'2", her 12 blocks sits 2nd on her own team. You see in the SEC, she's 10th in the conference in points per contest. Transfer from Arkansas Pine Bluff, but she's no stranger to the SEC. This is her 3rd SEC stop. Down low, Iwala loses the dribble and recovers. 9 left to shoot for Sadler. Now down to 5. Scott from her own territory. She loves the mid-range Jays when she's off the mark. Zaay Green, too, we were told before the game that Green has the capability to just take over any game. She may be taking over this first quarter as Sadler scoots inside and gets it back from Scott. Deans triggers. Rebound falls all the way to Leah Brooks. Ole Miss started 6 for 7 from the floor. Now they're 1 for 7 shooting since. Green pops another off the mark. Pulled up to shoot for Deans. On the run. Deans, step back. Oh, almost. Scored one of her best seasons, over 16 points per game at UAPB a season ago. She enters the transfer portal. Alabama says, sure, of course, come on down to Tuscaloosa and score some points for us. And Zaay Green, with her 16.1 points per game, is the 10th highest scorer in the SEC right now.
I mean, don't you know Christy Curry was just elated when Zaay Green wanted to finish up her college career here at Alabama.
Beautiful feed to Cody. There's the foul. Twisted out.
Trying to will it in.
Essence Cody. For the season, though, 2 points at Texas and that 44-point loss on the road in Austin. And Christy Curry said, we were as bad as the weather was. 8 left to shoot for Sadler. Looking for Jacobs. Jacobs draws a double, and there's the whistle. Switch that back from Lester to Zaay Green. Actually crossed paths with Zaay Green last year at Arkansas Pine Bluff. However, Jacobs did not play last year up against Alabama, the first-ranked team to come into the pavilion this year. Nye also showcasing she can hit it from inside the arc.
I like that Alabama with their ball rotation, but not hesitating to take those open looks.
Nye has 5 points, second highest scorer so far for Alabama. I find that hard to believe that Alabama's the first top 25 team to come into the pavilion this year. That just doesn't seem, it just seems weird to me, right, Lindsay?
Well, you have to think, though, I mean, Coach O has mentioned it before, up until recently, all of her Power 4 schools were on the road.
Yeah. Zaay Green knocks down the long two. The Longhorns limited Green to just a season-low 5 points. So you know Zaay Green's not looking to be held to 5 points today.
Playing with the chip on her shoulders.
Carly Weathers gets it back from Green after the steal, and Alabama's got their first lead.
Coach Curry told us that in semesters she's in clinicals, so they've had to adjust their practice times this semester to get with her rotations much better. They pieced it together, and more than that, she's great as a student, great on the court. She's a glue player for this team, as Coach Curry says.
Much respect. As Christina Walla ties this game up for Ole Miss. She's up to 5 points today. Todd Williams for Ole Miss in on that pass intended for Ezuma, with the official scorekeepers in the second row of press row. They were the ones who said it should be Ole Miss's ball, not Alabama's. Sadler triggers, knocks it down. Tamia Sadler, that's her 15th three. That's third most on Ole Miss's roster this season. She's really come along for the Rebels, finding her footing and getting comfortable here in Oxford. The Colorado transfer, as Weathers needs some help. 5 left to shoot for the Tide. Collins from the free throw line. Book it. Number 12 in white already has 5 points for the Rebels. Her career high is 12. She's already made a solid impact for Ole Miss in this first half. Todd Williams is fouled. It took a little bit for Todd Williams to get her footing last year. It was her first year as a Rebel. And it was really around SEC play when she came around. No Sarah Ashley Barker, missing her 3rd straight game due to that lower leg injury. She suffered that against Florida late in the second half. As Green bounces to Nye. Swish! Single season threes record last season with 108. Tied second most in SEC history. Scott's off the mark. She's missed a couple of the mid-range Jays. And again, she leads the SEC, 3rd in Division I, too. Failed to mention that. Preseason All-SEC coming into the year, too. But 108 threes in a year. Lindsay, you were a three-point shooter. How tough is that?
That is tough. I mean, that is a lot of reps in the off season to get that kind of accuracy.
5 left to shoot, and Green, bullseye! She puts that in. Ole Miss has not scored in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Chinu down the lane, offensive foul call. .40 seconds left for the second quarter. Alabama started out slow. Now they've got the lead. Interviews with both coaches here at the half. Get to learn more about the background of Madison Scott. The Tide get back to point. 31-27. This is Alabama's biggest lead today. 2 seconds between the shot clock and the game clock, and let's see what Ole Miss does here. They rotate it to Todd Williams. She's missed her last 3 threes. Jacobs corrals the miss. 8 seconds left for the half. Sadler. Out of bounds with 2.5. Last touch by Cunningham of Alabama. And the Tide are up so far on Ole Miss. They go out to Sadler. Not a lot of time left, and Ole Miss doesn't even get a shot off. 31-27. 8-0 run for the Tide in the last 2.5 minutes.
Coach Curry locked in. I'm sure Coach Yo locked in too. Guarantee there was no giggles going on in the locker room at halftime for either one of these teams.
Yeah, that was Coach Yost saying after Ole Miss was up 19 against Vanderbilt at halftime last game. Ole Miss took down the Commodores by 28 points. This is an Alabama team that lost by 44 on the road at Texas, and they wanted to respond in a big way today. So far, that's the case, but we still have a half of basketball left. And Sierra Chinu scores for Ole Miss. That's just Chinu's 4th point now today.
Yeah, that's surprising, especially the pre-conference season that she has had so far.
Green goes to work underneath. On the dribble. Around Chinu. Boy, what a move.
I have the biggest smile on my face right now. That footwork, I mean, that is pro level.
Madison Scott, who had just 2 points in that first half for Ole Miss. She is key to the Rebels' success to start. Jacobs gets swatted underneath, gets it back and fumbles in the lane. Zaay Green out of there with it, and she gives to Nye. And it was off Todd Williams. It was 1 for 5 from the floor. She missed a lot of those mid-range jumpers that we normally see her make.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this second half is going to go for a few of the Ole Miss players on the offensive end.
Zaay Green was in the position again on her pivot foot, but she gave to Nye. Nye has 6 left to shoot. Nye fades away. Book it. Todd Williams with 8 left in the possession. Splits a double. Here's Sadler. Scott offensive rebound. And she got fouled on the way up.
Alabama was making some adjustments because Ole Miss was getting so many points in the paint. That one hurts.
Cunningham today, 7 minutes. She scored 2 points. No Sarah Ashley Barker today for Alabama. Missing her 3rd straight game. Lower leg injury. She suffered that against Florida. Was considered day-to-day. Still is. She's out today. Scott makes both. The 50% free throw shooter for Ole Miss this season. And the Rebels are within 4 to Alabama at home. She's so wide open. Diana Collins. How come nobody went to defend her?
I mean, if you're going to leave somebody wide open, goodness gracious.
Diana Collins, because of Sarah Ashley Barker being out, is starting in her 3rd straight game. And Christy Curry even said, we got to rely on everybody else. You can't just replace a first-team All-SEC honoree. It's got to be everybody. Todd Williams bags the 3 for Ole Miss. Todd Williams with 11 points and 3 threes. Cross-court pass to Nye. Jets pass Todd Williams. Backdoor cut. Cunningham gets stripped by Jacobs. Jacobs up the floor. Sadler scoops to Scott. A beautiful symphony by Ole Miss.
Pretty transition basket. Need to find some flow here. It hasn't been smooth, fluent basketball. That transition point might get something going.
This crowd is into it in Oxford. They don't want to see an 11-game home win streak snapped today. Green to the foul line. 6 left to shoot. Needs help. Weathers back door. Can't finish. Cunningham banks it in. She's fired up. All SEC first-teamer missing her 3rd straight game. Let's check in with Laurel.
Yeah, Sarah Ashley's not playing tonight, but she is active on the bench. She's had a piece of paper in her hand the entire afternoon, talking to the coaches, talking to her teammates, letting her know what she sees on the court. She's certainly making her presence known even on the bench.
And that's what leaders do, especially when they're unable to impact the game. Nye, bullseye! Made threes to get up to 4th all-time in Alabama history in career threes made. The biggest lead for the Crimson Tide today. Sirachinu gets the feed from Madison Scott. And the Rebels need more of that, Lindsay. She also leads Ole Miss with 11 double-figure games this year. Yes, as a freshman. Green goes to work, scoots inside, bends the corner. Whoa! Already at her per-game average with 5 to go in this 3rd quarter. However, the free throws. KK Deans is wide open. Ole Miss is 3 for 13 from outside the arc. Team 2 that started out hot. Has it been Alabama, Lindsay? Has it been Ole Miss? What's the reason for the Crimson Tide taking over?
I think a little bit of both. Ole Miss needs to calm down, get the motion offense, and get the ball on the inside.
Chinu in transition. Swoops it in. Chinu up to 8 points.
And points like that, that's Ole Miss's bread and butter, turning your defense into offense.
Ole Miss has scored 8 points off 9 Alabama turnovers. And Ole Miss forces 24 turnovers per game. The Tide have done a great job taking care of the ball. Zaay Green knocks it down from up top.
Now Ole Miss needs to adjust to Zaay Green. She's having her way.
19 points, 3 made threes with 7 boards and 5 assists. Chinu is whistled for the foul. Shot clock goes down to 10. But Alabama has 7 made threes tonight as Green gets a wide open lane. KK Deans spots up. Rebound for Alabama. She just said that game was just an anomaly. It's just not Alabama's day, and I said the same thing. Unfortunately, it was one of those days in Austin.
Alabama is being tested with Sarah Ashley Barker out.
$1:23 left in this 3rd quarter. Deans tries again. Hits this time. Ole Miss needed that.
They needed that. They need a few more of those too. Alabama's done a good job of getting Ole Miss with their backs against the wall.
Deans with her team leading 25th made three this year. And a foul called underneath. What's Alabama doing this 3rd quarter, Lindsay? Up 11 again?
You know, they're not relying on one player. Everybody that's on the floor is playing peak basketball.
And that's what Coach Curry wanted today without Sarah Ashley Barker. Iwala spins to the basket, drops it in for that old-fashioned spin and hook. She does that so well.
She does it so well. We see that almost every game from her, and it is nearly impossible to guard.
Green on the drive, kicks to Nye, catch and shoot. Collins gets the miss, refresh 20. Nye wants another. Give it to her. Eight left for the quarter. They go to Iwala. Outside to Scott. Extra pass. Dean. She's blocked. Gets it back with 2. And draws the foul. But since Thanksgiving, she's only averaged over 6 points a contest and coming off the bench in years prior. She sinks both here. That gets Ole Miss within 10. 1.7 left. And Alabama just hangs on to it. The final 10 minutes coming up in Oxford. Alabama in that 3rd quarter outscored Ole Miss 25-19. This is an Ole Miss team that allows 49 points per game, and Alabama's scored 56 points through the first 3 quarters. And they have done it, too, without their All-SEC first-teamer from last year, Sarah Ashley Barker, who's missing her 3rd straight game due to a lower leg injury. Nye with 18 points, scoots down the lane. She was defended well by Todd Williams, who spills to the deck and gets a pass off to Scott. KK Deans in transition, swatted by Weathers. Star Jacobs banks it in, and 1.
That was huge for Star Jacobs.
Now Madison Scott, one of these key contributors for Ole Miss, with 3 fouls in the 4th. Nye swishes her, another one. Her 5th today.
What a game Nye is having.
Bama's up 10. Green and Nye, 21 points each. Iwala muscles one up, off the window and in. Green goes to Nye. This one well off the mark. Rebound falls to Madison Scott. Ole Miss down 8. Scott down the lane. Smooches it in. Nye swishes it. Her 6-3.
What an interesting choice for Ole Miss to switch to a zone when Alabama is killing them from that 3-point line.
Ole Miss has been getting some good looks underneath. That time it was Star Jacobs.
Yeah, Star Jacobs, she is a boss when it comes to points in the paint.
Aaliyah Nye has 6 made threes. Her career high is 8. She's 24 points, nearing her career best 30, which she set earlier this year against Jacksonville. Collins. Another bottom of the net shot for Alabama. Collins now has 7 points in her 3rd start since Sarah Ashley Barker suffered the lower leg injury and just missed 3 straight games. Jacobs fights underneath, gets it back, and the stick back is in.
Man, she is relentless. This is where Alabama is really missing Cody on the floor.
Star Jacobs now has 11 points for Ole Miss. She's 5 for 9 from outside the arc. Check that. Jacobs leads Ole Miss scorers with 13 now. Green pulls up. Yes, she hits it. Bama can't miss from outside. Can Deans respond? Good. And the whistle intervenes. Offensive foul call. You see Ole Miss's 3-point percentage, 29%. They hit it from 32 for the season. That's 12th in the SEC. They dominate in the paint. And Todd Williams goes to Scott. That was halfway down. Jacobs draws the foul. WAC Player of the Year in her time at UT Arlington. She spent 2 years there. She played in the WAC, and then they made a switch of conferences. And she continues to shine here in the SEC. Crowd is into it at the SJB Pavilion. Nye fades back. Tough shot. Can't hit. Iwala with the rebound. She is 2 today. The UCLA transfer. Deans finds Jacobs. Gets put on the deck. No call. The Crimson Tide have numbers. And Collins slows the pace. Green. Head fake. Nye. Oh, yeah. Nye's got 7. 1 away from her career high.
She is not the one that you want to leave wide open. Ole Miss has got to find their man.
Scott drives, takes contact, and misses. Iwala's second chance. These second chance opportunities are killing Alabama. Lindsay, 19 now for Ole Miss. Collins on the drive. Scoop shot puts it in. Refresh 20 for Ole Miss. Jacobs gets the floater from Scott. Cody does have 4 fouls for Alabama. Green has been spectacular today. 24 points. She feeds Cody for 2 more. Free throws were missed by Collins. Star Jacobs underneath, tries a second time, can't connect. Cody was pushed to the ground, no call, and finally.
Very, very smart, heady basketball by Cody these last few minutes.
If you're Ole Miss, you're targeting her. You know she's got 4 fouls. Sadler got a hand on that dribble from Green. Now Green on the drive. 8 seconds left. Her shot was swatted by Scott, but a foul's called. Alabama is 6 for 15 from the free throw line. Needed that. Jacobs with a double-double, her second this season. Deans steps through, gets 2.
I'm sure the Ole Miss fans were a little nervous on that when KK Deans picked up her dribble but made the most of it.
You could tell she's a veteran because she stayed so composed.
Absolutely.
Madison Scott putting pressure on Zaay Green up the court. Even with 4 personal fouls, Green goes to the basket. She's blocked by Scott. She doesn't care if she is 4. Sadler coast to coast. Scott's wide open. Jacobs puts it in. 5-point game.
Star Jacobs has so much fight in her blood. Did you see the way that she went after that ball? Nobody else was going to get it.
Foul called on Scott.
Zaay Green knew exactly what she was doing.
Crowd comes alive for Green's free throw. She hits the first. 8 for 18 from the line today, Alabama. 44%. And Green hits both when it matters most.
Good veteran play.
See how Ole Miss can respond without Maddie Scott, who just fouled out. Down 7. Todd Williams inside. Now it's Deans. They go inside to Jacobs. Free throws on the way. She hits the first. If she makes it. There you go. There's your timeout. Ole Miss has to force a turnover here. That is what they do best. They force 24 per game. They've only forced 12 Alabama turnovers, though. And Todd Williams
didn't have much of a choice.
Nye is 2 for 2 this afternoon.
South Carolina's going to have their hands full if they play like this and have Sarah Ashley Barker back.
25 seconds left. Ole Miss goes to Deans. Step back. Spills out of play, and it's Alabama ball. And Alabama's 18 seconds away from snapping Ole Miss's 11-game home win streak. And a foul almost immediately. How mind-blowing is that?
Completely mind-blowing, especially since they took so many three-pointers.
And 63% from 3. 63%, an obvious season high. 12 made threes today, too, for Alabama. Second most since their season opener. I beg your pardon, since the Jacksonville game when they hit 14 made threes. Ole Miss does get a 3.
I think it's Alabama game plan that came out ahead on this one.
Yeah. Nye gets the ball, and Sadler called for the foul. Nye's back at the free throw line. With these free throws, she can tie her career high and set another one. And a new career high. What a day she's had.
Ole Miss will not forget her anytime soon.
She's 1 3 away from her career best. She hit 7 today. KK Deans knocks it down. With 5.6 to go, this is all but Alabama's. This is game number 18. She hit 108 last year. It's a shame I didn't see who actually had the record, Lindsay. Now I'm curious. Who's better than Aaliyah Nye shooting threes in this conference?
I'm drawing a blank. I got nobody.
That's it from Oxford. Alabama snaps Ole Miss's 11-game home win streak. 84-78. The Crimson Tide came here to play.